Hello everyone! So today I am reading The Keeping Quilt by Patricia Polacco. I think it's how you say it. The Keeping Quilt. What's that? It's the Statue of Liberty. All the people are coming in on a boat. Alright. When my great-grandma Anna came to America, she wore the same thick overcoat and big boots she had worn for farm work. But her family weren't dirt farmers anymore. In New York City, her father's work was hauling things on a wagon, and the rest of the family made artificial flowers all day. Everyone was in a hurry, and it was so crowded, not like back home Russia. But all the same, it was their home, and most of their neighbors were just like them. You see how this one's in red? That's a portrait. Okay. When Anna went to school, English sounded to her like pebbles dropping to shallow water. Shh, shh, shh. In 6 months, she was speaking English. Her parents almost never learned, so she spoke English for them too. The only thing she had left of back home Russia were her dress and the babushka she liked to throw up in the air when she was dancing. See, there it is. There's her dress. Look at her having fun dancing. And her dress was getting too small. After her mother had sewn her a new one, she took her old dress and babushka, and from a basket of old clothes, she took Uncle Vladimir's shirt, Aunt Havala's nightdress, and an apron of Aunt Natasha's. "We will make a quilt to help us always remember home," Anna's mother said. "It'll be like having a family in back home Russia dance around us at night." Definitely getting short. And there's that. You know what kind of dance they're doing right here? It's called a ring dance. It's a Jewish dance. And so it was, Anna's mother invited all the neighborhood ladies, and they cut out animals and flowers from the scraps of clothing. Anna kept the needles threaded and handed them to the ladies as they needed them. The border of the quilt was made of Anna's babushka. This is called a sewing circle. All of them used to work together. It was kind of like a little party where they would get together, and that's how they got socialization. They would get together and do that together, and it made the task of sewing quilts or clothes or whatever they might be working on, it made it fun for them. On Friday nights, Anna's mother would say the prayers that started the Sabbath. The family ate challah and chicken soup, and the quilt was the tablecloth. Anna grew up and fell in love with great-grandpa Sasha. To show he wanted to be her husband, he gave Anna a gold coin, a dried flower, and a piece of rock salt, all tied into a linen handkerchief. The gold was for wealth, the flower was for love, and the salt is so that their lives would have flavor. She accepted the hanky, and they were engaged. So here they're having their Sabbath prayers. And here he's proposing. And you can see the quilt in both. Under the wedding huppah, Anna and Sasha promised their love and understanding. After the wedding, the men and the women celebrated separately. That's how it was done culturally at the time. When my grandma Carl was born, Anna wrapped her daughter in the quilt to welcome her warmly into the world. Carl was given a gift of gold, flour, salt, and bread. Gold was so that she would never know poverty, a flour so that she would always know love, salt so her life would always have flavor, and bread so she would never know hunger. Carly, I think it's Carly, not Carl. Carly learned to keep the Sabbath and to cook and clean and do the washing. Married you'll be someday, Anna told Carly. And here's the baby wrapped in the quilt. They're washing it. Hanging it up on the line to dry because there were no clothes dryers at the time. So they would hang them up on the line to dry. Again, the quilt became a wedding hoopah. This time for Carly's wedding to Grandpa George. Men and women celebrated together, but they still did not dance together. And Carly's wedding bouquet were gold coin, bread, and salt. Carly and George moved to a farm in Michigan, and great-grandma Anna came to live with them. The quilt once again wrapped a new little girl, Mary Ellen. So now they're getting married, and they're together. All the men and women are together. And there's baby, your little baby. Mary Ellen called Anna Lady Grandma. She had grown very old and was sick a lot of times. The quilt kept her legs warm. On Anna's 98th birthday, the cake was kulich. It's spelled Kulich, and I do not know enough Hebrew. It's not Hebrew. I can't think of what it's called. To know what it is. I can't remember what it's called. I can't remember. But that is the kulich is a rich cake with raisins and candied fruit in it. So it's kind of like a fruit cake that you might see at Christmas. So keep the legs warm. And it's her birthday. When great-grandma died, prayers were said to lift her soul to heaven. My mother, Mary Ellen, was now all grown up. They're saying goodbye. When Mary Ellen left home, she took the quilt with her. When she became a bride, the quilt became her hoopah. For the first time, friends who were not Jews came to the wedding. My mother wore a suit, but in her bouquet were gold, bread, and salt. Some things don't change. She's got a suit jacket with a skirt. Because that's the style at the time. The quilt welcomed me, Patricia, into the world, and it was the tablecloth for my first birthday party. Happy birthday! At night, I would trace my fingers around the edge of each animal on the quilt before I went to sleep. I told my mother stories about the animals on the quilt. She told me whose sleeve had made the horse, whose apron had made the chicken, whose dress had made the flowers, and whose babushka went around the edge of the quilt. The quilt was a pretend cape when I was in the bull ring, or sometimes a tent in the steaming Amazon jungle. I can't read. Now they're telling stories. Oh yeah, I like the tent. I used to make tents. You make tents? At my wedding to Enzo Mario, men and women danced together. In my bouquet were gold, bread, and salt, and a sprinkle of wine, so I would always know after. They're dancing together. Yiddish. That's what I was trying to think. I don't know enough Yiddish to know how to pronounce the name of the cake. 20 years ago, I held Tracy Denise in the quilt for the first time. Someday, she too will leave home and she will take the quilt with her. Oh, another baby. I like how the quilt was passed down from generation to generation. The keeping quilt. Hey, have a good day.